My friend, if your heart feels restless right now, as if something is about to happen, something you can't quite name yet, then stay here with me, because in just 48 hours, a destined shift is preparing to touch your life. This isn't a coincidence. It is the universe whispering directly to you. So take a deep breath, listen closely, and step with me into this journey, where the very first door opens before you. The call of the universe, 48 hours of destiny. Aries, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart soften, because this message has not come to you by chance. In this quiet moment, the universe is choosing you to hear its sacred whisper. A great event is preparing to unfold. Within the next 48 hours, a door you thought would never open is slowly unlocking, and you are about to step through it. You may already feel something shifting, even if it's subtle, like the surface of a lake, calm at first glance. Yet beneath, a hidden current is pushing everything forward. For years, you have waited, you have sacrificed, you have carried burdens few could ever see. The prayers you sent into the sky seemed lost in the wind, the dreams you thought would never arrive. But now, the universe whispers back to you, your waiting is about to be answered. Picture a loaf of bread in the oven, golden, almost ready, needing just one last touch of fire before it is perfect. That is you, Aries. The harvest is no longer far away. It only waits for one destined moment, and that moment is these next 48 hours. If your heart beats faster hearing this, it is not a coincidence. It is your soul recognizing the signal, what you have fought for in silence, the wounds you endured without a sound. None of it was wasted. Every tear, every sleepless night, every forced smile to keep going was a seed planted in secret. And now those seeds are preparing to bloom into the blessings you deserve. Aries, you are not just a conqueror of fire, you are a soul of patience, a keeper of the light in long nights, and that patience has become the lighthouse guiding you home. Believe this, sometimes the strength we need is not to break the door wide open, but to wait until the door quietly opens on its own. So in this moment, I want you to ask yourself, have you ever waited so long for something that you thought the universe had forgotten you? But then one day it arrived like a miracle. Share that story in the comments, because when you write it, you not only remind yourself of the power of faith, you give hope to someone else who is still waiting. Modern life tells us to be fast, to demand results now, to grasp everything instantly. But Aries, the greatest things never arrive in haste. They come like the sunrise each morning. No one forces it, no one can stop it. It comes at its time. And when it does, light floods in, washing away the night. I believe every challenge you endured was part of a larger picture, and the lesson hidden in this moment is clear. Patience and faith are never wasted. They are the quiet seeds sown in the dark that one day grow into trees because of your persistence. Let me tell you this, from the heart of someone who understands. You are enough. You have done enough. You no longer need to struggle to prove your worth. The universe has seen you, and it is returning what you truly deserve. In these next 48 hours, you will see the sign, as clear as a bell ringing in the stillness. And when you open your heart to receive this blessing, let yourself hear something even greater. Because the change the universe brings is not only an outer reward, it is an inner rebirth. A call is rising within you, silent yet powerful, inviting you into days you have never known before, days overflowing with light and with joy that runs deep. In those moments when you thought you had already walked through every peak and every valley, when your hands carried nothing but the scars of difficult years, it was then that a card appeared rising like dawn after a long night, the sun, and it whispered a truth that almost feels impossible to believe, that you have not yet lived the happiest days of your life. The best is not behind you, it's waiting ahead of you. Picture the sun slowly rising, light slipping through the leaves over rooftops, filling the whole sky. That's what joy is beginning to do in your life, spreading slowly but surely, dissolving the fog you once thought would never lift. Yes, you've smiled before, but those smiles carried sorrow inside them. Yes, you've had happy days, but that happiness was never enough to heal the deepest wounds. Now, another kind of joy is coming, not fragmented, not stitched together, but whole, radiant, freeing. I want to pause here to let you feel a simple truth. Happiness is never a closed story. We often believe the best moments only exist in memory. That youth laughter, those radiant days are gone for good. But the truth is, As long as you can breathe, as long as you can love, as long as you can open your heart, joy still has room to bloom. Tomorrow's light is not the shadow of yesterday. It is a brand new light. What moves me deeply is knowing how much pain you've endured to the point where you may have questioned if you still deserve happiness. But the universe does not look at you with judgment. It sees a resilient soul, a heart that has never stopped longing for love. And that is why this light is reaching you, to remind you that you have not been abandoned in the night, that happiness is not only for others, it is for you here now. Maybe you're asking yourself, how can I believe that the best days are still ahead? The answer is in how you look at today. If you can still find the courage to smile through tears, if you can still take another step, even when your feet are tired, that alone is proof that you are ready for new joy. Because real happiness is not the absence of pain. It is the laughter that rings loud after walking through it. The lesson here is this: don't let old wounds chain your faith in the future. The past has no right to define what is coming for you. Just as a garden left in ruin can bloom again with care, your heart can blossom once more. And this time, it blooms not from the shallow praise of the world, but from the steady light you've been cultivating within yourself. I want to invite you now to place your hand over your heart and say these words clearly. I believe the most beautiful days are still coming to me. Write it down, share it in the comments, because when you speak it, you plant faith not just in yourself, but in others who are listening right here with you. Those who have doubted, those who have feared. That is the power of community. Every word of belief you speak becomes like a drop of rain, greening the fields of someone else's hope. If I could leave you with an image, it would be of a traveler walking down a darkened path, and ahead a streak of light appears, growing brighter and brighter, until the entire road glows. That is where you are right now. The sun is reminding you it's not over, it's only just beginning. And remember this: joy takes root most deeply when it is nourished by people who arrive at the right time. The universe will not let you walk alone. There will be a hand reaching out, a steady shoulder beside you, someone appearing exactly when you feel you cannot go on, and your joy will be even deeper when you realize that person has been sent to walk with you, a gift arriving in perfect timing. In those moments when we think we have to carry everything alone, the universe always has its own way of reminding us no one was born to fight by themselves. When your feet grow tired, when your shoulders tremble under the weight, a hand suddenly reaches out. An unseen gaze looks at you with quiet trust. That is the sign that help is near. Someone strong, steady, carrying the energy of earth is about to step into your life. It may be a mature man, it may be a loyal friend, or simply a soul calm enough to make you feel safe by their side. They don't come to walk the path for you. They come to be the shoulder you lean on when you are weary, to rekindle the flame of faith when you nearly forget how strong you truly are. You'll recognize their presence not by grand speeches, but by the certainty in the way they stand beside you. They know when to stay silent, when to offer a single word, and when to remind you of your worth. Like the great tree that shelters you from burning sun, they give you space to breathe, to find your balance again. And it is then you realize some anchors in life don't make us weaker. They steady us against the fiercest storms. But support doesn't only come from the world you can see. There are souls, women who have passed on, a mother, a grandmother, a loved one who once held you in their arms, still beside you now. Not in flesh, but in ways so subtle you cannot miss them. When a familiar scent drifts past you, when in a dream you hear that tender voice, or when a sudden warmth touches you in a lonely night, that is them placing a hand on your shoulder, whispering you are not walking alone. This points to a deeper truth. We are not strong because we stand alone. We are strong because behind us flows an unseen river of love carrying us forward. Every step you take, every tear you wipe away, someone in the unseen world is sending you a prayer of peace. If you have ever felt an unexpected warmth in your coldest hours, that is their presence, proof that love never dies. It only changes form. To stay with you, let me share this from my own heart. Every human being needs an anchor, not always material, sometimes just a person who arrives at the right time, a simple embrace, a gentle reminder. Admitting we need support does not make us smaller, it makes us whole, because real strength is not resisting in isolation, but knowing when to open the door and let others in. And the lesson here is clear. We grow stronger when we know how to lean. No one stands tall on their own strength alone. Like an ancient tree that survives for centuries because of the forest around it, we too only truly thrive when we trust in community, in compassion, in the helping hand that arrives just when it's needed. So let me ask you, who was the one who held you when you were at your weakest? Maybe they said very little, maybe nothing at all, yet their presence lifted you back up. Share that story in the comments, because when you write it down, you not only honor the one who gave you strength, you also send out the message that true kindness can change someone's life forever. And as you learn to receive support from both earth and heaven, your heart begins to soften. It no longer shuts tight in defense. It opens, ready to feel again, because real support, when it touches you, does more than heal weary shoulders. It awakens the deepest part of the soul, the place where love in all its forms is preparing to enter and transform everything. There comes a moment in life when you suddenly realize that all the searching you've done on the outside was only meant to lead you back to one simple truth: to be loved and to be seen exactly as you are, not through flashy promises, not through fleeting moments, but through a steady presence, one that makes you want to stay. If you are in a relationship right now, this is the season where love becomes more than daily companionship. It goes deeper, like roots sinking into the earth, anchoring you both through storms and seasons. The person beside you is no longer just a lover or a partner in the ordinary sense. They become a mirror reflecting you back to yourself, reminding you of your own worth. And when your heart opens in this way, love becomes a healing journey, a place where you learn to give and also to receive. If you are single, the universe is preparing to send someone your way, not someone who comes to fill a void, not someone passing through for fleeting fun, but a soul who truly wants to reach you, not just through a glance, not just through sweet words, but through patience, through listening, through the courage to stay when old wounds rise to the surface. And the question for you is this: is your heart ready to open to that kind of love? But love, as the universe whispers, is not only about romance. It shows up in family, in kinship, in connections you thought were broken or too distant, an unexpected conversation, a quiet apology, an embrace that arrives without warning. All of these can become bridges of healing. It may be that moment when you look into the eyes of someone close, and you see no anger anymore, only the desire to come near again. That is when love becomes a key, unlocking peace not just for you, but for everyone around you. Let me pause here and share something from my own heart. I believe true love does not need many words. It is not loud. It does not show itself off. It does not require grand proof. Real love is when you can breathe deeper in someone's presence, when your heart does not have to stay tense and guarded, but can relax, be itself, without masks, without pretending. That quiet peace, that's what makes you want to stay. That's what makes you want to build. That's what makes you want to keep going. The lesson here is clear. Hold on only to the connections that bring you clarity and peace. Don't let your heart be deceived by sweet words with empty meaning or by half-hearted presence. The true value of a relationship is not in pretty phrases, but in whether you feel safe enough to trust, safe enough to breathe, safe enough to rest your soul within it. And now I want to ask you, what makes you feel safe in a relationship? Write it down in the comments, because when you name it, you affirm it within yourself, and you light the way for someone else who might be searching for the same thing. Maybe it's genuine listening. Maybe it's a gaze without judgment. Maybe it's simply someone who doesn't leave you in your hardest hour. Every story you share becomes another piece of the larger picture, the picture of what real love looks like. So imagine this. You're sitting in a warm room. Outside, the wind may howl, storms may rage, but in the arms of someone you trust, there is no fear. That is what true love always feels like. A shelter, a fire in the night, a quiet place in the middle of a restless world. And then, when your heart has been touched, when love has softened you and made you whole again, that is also when you will realize something else. Not everyone will be glad to see your light shine. The outer world will not always match the brightness inside your heart. And that is when another lesson comes, a deeper one, about energy, about boundaries, about learning how to protect the sacred flame within you. In life, not every light is welcomed with applause. Sometimes when you begin to shine again, when your heart rediscovers joy and you walk with confidence, there will be eyes that do not smile, Hearts that stay closed, people who simply cannot bear to see you happy. They may not mean to destroy you, but the unrest within them cannot accept the light within you. Think back for a moment to a time when you achieved something or even just lived a peaceful day, and suddenly you could feel the discomfort of someone near you. They didn't have to say it. You saw it in their eyes. You heard it in careless words. You felt it in their cold silence. That is how darkness reacts when light grows stronger. And it is also when the universe sends you an important message. Protect the sacred flame within you. I believe this. The brighter the light, the clearer the shadows appear. But not every shadow is worth a fight. Some battles don't require a sword. They are won through silence. Maturity is knowing where to give your energy, and where to simply smile, walk past, and not look back. Like walking at night. You see shadows slip across your path. You don't need to chase every shadow to prove you still stand in the light. You just keep moving forward because your light is already enough to dissolve them. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Not everyone is worthy of the fullness of your heart. Your energy is sacred. Your spirit is precious. Do not waste them on those who only come to test your strength. The truth is, you do not need to beg for love or recognition. You are already whole from the moment you were born. So let me pause and let you feel this truth. You do not need to prove your worth by pleasing everyone. You do not need to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's frame. When you live honestly, you shine with a light that cannot be faked. And that light will naturally choose who deserves to stay beside you. I want to invite you to share something honest in the comments. Have you ever felt that someone did not want to see you happy? And how did you rise above it? Every story you write will not only free your own heart, but will also give strength to someone else, someone who may be quietly living the same experience. We become stronger when we know we are not alone in this. Now imagine this. You are standing on a hill at night. Behind you, the shadows linger, but before you, the sky is filled with stars. You don't turn back to argue with the dark. You lift your eyes to the sky, and the shadows fade away on their own. That is how you protect your light, not with anger, not with revenge, but by choosing what is truly worthy of your heart. And when you learn to guard that flame inside you, you will see the darkness slowly retreat. In that space, a sacred door opens. Not the door of fear, but the door of a beginning. An old cycle heavy with wounds and burdens comes to a close, and the very moment it closes, a new chapter for your soul begins to glow, like a sunrise announcing that the night has finally passed. In every life, there are cycles that feel impossible to escape. They may show up as relationships that repeat the same old pain. They may live in beliefs passed down for generations, like invisible chains binding you. Or sometimes, it is that quiet voice in your mind whispering over and over that you are not enough, that you don't deserve love. Aries, you've carried these burdens far too long, but today, a door is closing, and you are the one chosen to speak the final words. There is a silent power in daring to say two simple words: enough. When you tell the past it no longer has the right to rule your present, you give yourself permission to walk lighter. And the beauty of it is this: that act does not free only you, it frees those who will come after you. I believe healing yourself is the most sacred gift you can offer the generations to come, because each time you break an old cycle, each time you choose to respond differently, each time you choose forgiveness over resentment, you are rewriting history for your bloodline. Your children, your grandchildren, will grow without carrying the same wounds you once bore. And that is the most beautiful inheritance. Not wealth or possessions, but freedom of the soul. This is not only your journey, it is the journey for all the souls who will walk this earth after you. When you step out of the darkness, the light you ignite will guide generations forward. So imagine this. If you are strong enough to say enough to violence, to control, to the belief that you are unworthy of love, then one day your children's children will grow up in gentleness, in love, with the unshakable knowing that they are always enough. Aries, that act is a silent prayer sent into the universe. I choose to end the old cycle and open a new chapter. I want you to write this down clearly, firmly, not just as words on a page, but as a promise to yourself. And when you do, you are planting a seed, a spiritual command, letting the universe know that you are ready. This moment is like the last winter finally giving way to spring. The snow melts, buds push gently through the soil, the sun warms the frozen ground, Yes, you may still feel the echoes of darker days inside you, but at the same time you can sense a new current of life rising through your whole being. That is the sign. The old season is over, and a beginning is calling you forward. The human lesson hidden here is this: the courage to say enough to old suffering is the greatest step of all, because true bravery is not in endless endurance, but in knowing when to lay the burden down. To put it down does not mean you are giving up. It means you are choosing to live for the future, instead of repeating the past. Let me touch something deeper. We often think enduring pain well is the mark of strength, but real strength is the courage to walk a new path, a path that refuses to repeat the things that broke you. And you, Aries, are standing right at that threshold. So allow yourself this pause. Take a deep breath and feel the relief of finally dropping that heavy backpack you've carried for so long. Your body stands taller, your steps feel lighter, your eyes grow brighter. That is the gift of release, and in the end, what you discover is not just a change. It is a rebirth, a new definition of your life being written by your own hands, by your own heart. As the old chapter closes, another door opens. It invites you forward into a journey of light, a journey where you are reborn in truth and in the freedom your soul has been brave enough to choose. There are moments in life that mark a turning point for everything that follows. We don't always recognize them the instant they arrive, but when we look back, we know with certainty from that moment on, everything changed. For you, Aries, the next 48 hours carry such a moment, a destined shift, moving you from simply surviving to truly shining. You've carried heavy days behind you, burdens that were never really yours, fighting against old beliefs, expectations, and invisible pressures. But now, the universe is calling you into new ground, a place where you no longer have to prove yourself, where you no longer shrink to fit inside someone else's picture. Here, you are invited to live in your own truth, to move with the rhythm of your soul. Picture yourself standing before the sunrise. The first light spills across the horizon. It does not ask if you are ready. It does not care if you are perfect. It simply comes gentle yet powerful, pushing back the night. And so it is with this rebirth. It does not ask you to become someone else. It only asks you to set the weight down, so that your empty hands are open wide enough to hold the new dawn. I believe this. No one can define you except you. And today you are rewriting your story, choice by choice, breath by breath. Every decision you make no longer comes from fear, but from trust and peace. Every step you take is no longer running from the past, but moving toward the place your heart has longed to belong. The human lesson hidden in this moment is clear. To live true to yourself is the greatest act of courage. To love yourself is the longest journey, and to choose the path of peace is the greatest gift you can ever give to your own life. When you live by the voice within, you not only free yourself, you awaken inspiration in those around you. So pause with me now, place your hand over your heart, and speak this affirmation with strength. I am ready to step into the change that will redefine my destiny. Write those words down. Let them stand as your declaration to the universe, because every affirmation is a seed, and when nourished with faith, that seed will always bloom into truth. You have carried heavy years. You have endured what was not yours to bear. You have lived inside the silence of pain, but now that ends. You step into a new season, a life lived with awareness, a heart that treasures each moment, and the courage to shine in your own way. This is no random beginning. This is the reward for your resilience, for all the times you chose to rise instead of give up. Aries, believe this. The next 48 hours do not simply mark a change. They mark a rebirth. A new definition of your life is unfolding, and the author of that story is you. Thank you for opening your heart to receive this message with me. May the next 48 hours surround you with the light of transformation, bringing peace, love, and a beginning filled with joy.